Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Scott Harper, and I'm the CEO of Boxbit Global. So we're going from cars to global shipping. As many of you know, global shipping is quite a huge industry. So it's a great use case, which I will get into in the next couple slides. The couple things I want to draw your attention to on the bottom row there. Believe it or not, 20% of the cost of global shipping is managing the paperwork burden of it. And just currying some of the paperwork around, the most important of which is the bill of lading, costs an estimated $5 billion a year just to fly the paperwork around. This is what a fairly simple transaction looks like in paperwork. Not only do you have invoices and bills of lading and packing lists, but you have things like declaration of wood packaging and testing for aflatoxin and other disease conditions. So all of this paperwork needs to be digitized, and that's Boxbit's mission. Currently, it comes from different places, comes from different steps in the chain. This is an example of taking grain that's a byproduct of distilling corn into ethanol, and then it's used for animal feed, and it's shipped around the world. As the paperwork's generated, it goes to different places, different ports, different transportation providers, but in a very decentralized, confusing, and expensive way. It's a really good use case for blockchain. So we can create the master records, and then every time that master record is changed or it moves to a new location, we can rehash that key to the record, commit that to the blockchain, and we have automatic traceability of that transaction through the journey. How do we do that? We're building at Boxbit a protocol. And so the top layer, the application layer, is open. It's open to shippers. It's open to beneficial cargo owners. It's open to software companies that make the enterprise software, transportation management systems, terminal operating systems, warehouse management systems, and the like, or their SAP or Salesforce or Oracle application software. And then Boxbit is generating the messaging layer, the database layer, which is a combination of public and private, and finally the committing to the blockchain, which we have an interesting and relevant architecture for where we store the data. This is the example of our technical layout and then our architecture. We used an iceberg because only the portion above water is what, in our analogy, is on the blockchain. So that'll be the bill of lading number that's hashed as a universal identifier. And then we have location data, green bonus data, which I'll get to in a second, and the full audit trail, while keeping private all the commercial details of the transaction. A little larger or more detailed view of what's encrypted on a private database and a distributed ledger. We've got a specialized partnership for document storage management, and then we're keeping the key to the record on the Ethereum blockchain, as Boxbit is a ERC-20 compliant coin. And the hooks to the enterprise system are being designed now so that you'll be able to import the data without ever rekeying it from your enterprise software as the third-party logistics provider, the shipper, or the cargo owner. So we are in development right now. We plan on having version 1.0 available in first quarter, hopefully January, and then the full platform and protocol live by third quarter of next year. Some of the elements of uniqueness that Boxbit provides, first and foremost, is a green bonus. You may or may not know that estimated 7% of all greenhouse gases are from industrial transportation. So transportation in general is about 14% of the CO2 emissions, but about half of that is passenger cars and motorcycles. And so what Boxbit is doing is incenting cleaner engine technology. So clean diesel, Tier 4 locomotives, larger ships that have a reduced CO2 per kilogram. And then we're looking, on the right-hand side of that slide, you see various all-electric transportation modes that are coming online, which will have an even larger incentive in terms of a Boxbit bonus, which is one of the uses of our utility token. The other big differentiator for Boxbit is that, contrary to some of our competition, we're not just focusing on the ocean voyage or just on the bill of lading. We're actually creating the full digital document set, working with the various governments in their customs and their agricultural inspection to get the full documents and location and lot detail, so we can actually track the carton of oranges or avocados, where they originate and what distribution center they arrive to. And we're focused on port, rail, truck, and third-party logistics, as well as the ocean carriers and the ocean voyage. Any good startup needs a great team. I am fortunate to work with some of these individuals. Tim Branken in the middle is here in the audience. He comes from the FX world and is an incredible salesperson, organizer. Mahesh is a fantastic entrepreneur. He started software companies. He's our CTO. And Jamie Kurtika comes from investment banking, as well as our chairman, Mike Waichaki. And then we have some great advisors as well. 4 of them are from the blockchain universe, and 2 from the shipping and logistics. So we feel like we have a very good balance of advisors as well. As far as Boxbit as a company, beyond the token, we see 4 sources of revenue. Transaction fees for paying for the shipment in Boxbit tokens. The software, platform as a service, license revenues, customization fees, and we'll also be able to extend the application modules that we offer, and then implementation consulting services. As the shipping environment is a very old-fashioned industry, we know that adoption will take some time, and so we're working with these companies to develop a blockchain strategy, as well as getting the kinds of prototypes ready that they need. I'm not going to spend any time on this in the general presentation, but we have modeled out some of our financial future, and happy to talk to any of you about this after the meeting, after the public presentation. So what about in this utility token winter, what are we seeing as the utility token use cases? We think that full payment for the transportation or full payment for the shipment is probably going to be somewhat delayed until we can fully hedge utility tokens. I think there's too much volatility at the moment to pay for the full shipment with a month on the ocean and a month of payment terms. So we see utility token use cases in the near term as software as a service payments, shipment booking and down payments, and then the distribution of our green bonus. And we think those are sufficient use cases to drive demand for the token. And then as far as any of you who are investors, we have an existing convertible note. We have a discount schedule and pre-sale. We're ready for pre-sale of our utility token. And we're also open to discussing the terms of a Series A equity round for Boxbit as a company. We're right over there, two booths away at 425, so we'd encourage conversations after the presentation, and I'll take some questions. We've got 4 more minutes. We've raised $300,000. We'd like to raise up to about $600,000. All right, thanks so much.